Hey guys, it's Kim from Honey Trail Farm, and I come to you from a 96-degree greenhouse. It feels like heaven in here. I wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about seed starting because it's coming up for a lot of people, especially in my area. It's not really time to start warm season things yet, but I have lots of cool season things in here. Here at Honey Trail Farm, we focus on growing annual vegetables and cut flowers. And so I have lots of cut flowers in here. I have lots of cool season things. I wanted to talk to you guys about essential tools for seed starting. So when I first started out, I'm a researcher. I love to learn all the things about everything that I can possibly learn about, which ultimately leads to analysis paralysis when you know too many things and you don't know where to start. But that's for a whole nother video. But I wanted to tell you guys some beginning tools that you can use and utilize today, as well as tools that will last you a long time. So you don't have to buy fancy tools to start seeds. If you're growing on a small scale, save your blueberry containers, your strawberry containers. Any of those plastic clamshells would work great because they've already got drainage holes. You can also save little yogurt containers. That's the perfect size for small things. You can buy red Solo cups and drill a hole in the bottom, and that's the perfect size for tomatoes and peppers. But here on the farm, I've been doing this for a while. I know that I'm going to continue to do it for a long time. So I've invested in some tools that makes life a little easier. For any basic home gardener, you can go to the big box store and purchase seed cell trays. These I purchased from Greenhouse Megastore because they had the best prices on bulk. I use these 6 cells. It's a larger 6 cells. I use these for my seedling sales so I can sell in 6-packs, but you could easily start anything that you needed to on your garden in these cell trays. They're not too small so that your seedlings won't outgrow them, and they're not too large that you're wasting a lot of soil. If you are going to start a lot of seeds of something, there are these 128 cell trays. This fits in a 1020 tray, which if you don't know what a 1020 tray is, it's 10 inches by 20 inches. That's why it's called 1020. I don't think I have an empty one in here, but it is the bottom portion of this tray. These you will use all the time for everything. Invest in those. I've been experimenting because I did soil blocks for the last 2 years and I have loved them, but I see a lot of farmers start in these 128 trays. So I wanted to see what all the hype was about, and so far I'm not really impressed. I have started for 2 years now most of my seedlings on these foam craft trays that I buy on Amazon. And if you take care of them, they do last a while, because I know I don't love styrofoam either, but you got to do what you got to do. These small trays, if you use soil blockers, will fit 120 seedlings on this tray. Now, when I first started, I didn't understand the importance of being able to start a lot in a small space because I wasn't starting a lot, so I wasn't scrapped for space. But when you're starting a lot and you're fighting for room on the heat mat, which is really why I starting all of my seedlings, almost all of my seedlings on this small tray, is because I can fit 8 on my heat mat. I have a 4-foot by 2-foot heat mat. I have a couple of those, so I can start 8 trays at a time, which is like 1,000 seedlings almost. Here's one example of just how much you can fit on one of these little trays, and I can tilt it like that and they don't fall off. Once the plants start growing roots, they really stick together. But this is Amy, which is like a decorative dill, kind of what it looks like. These are cool hardy flowers, which is why I have all these started. And I will let these grow all the way up until transplant on this tray. And I used barely any soil. This is the 3/4 inch blocker, and I will show you what that looks like. I used this small blocker. I think I got it on Amazon for probably $30. And when you're just starting out, tools seem expensive, but I've had this for 3 years and it works perfectly fine and I don't need to replace it. Now I will show you why I like this so much. Because this tray right here, which is significantly larger, holds 128. So 8 more. And it takes up like double, maybe double and a half of the space. This is lettuce seedlings. From the 3/4 inch block, it makes tiny little squares. And this is the 1.5 inch block, maybe? Don't quote me, I can't remember. But inside of this soil blocker, these pop off. I'm not going to take them off right now, but they will pop off to have like a regular dibbler that makes the little divot for the seed, like in the bottom, you see there. But I have placed the square dibble, which is the exact same size as the 3/4 inch block. So I will take this and fill a whole tray of soil blocks, and then into the soil block I will just pop in the little squares. This was a tray I potted up 2 days ago. This is Cordebu cabbage, which is one of my very favorite cabbages. It's like a cone shape. I got the seed from Baker Creek, if you wanted to know. But these, I will tell you that soil blocks grow healthier seedlings. Plants in a soil block don't get root bound because their roots just flow freely, and then once they reach the edge of the block, the air prunes them, and so they're not wrapping around a container. Like in a pot, when the roots reach the edge, they just keep coiling around the bottom and then they get root bound, which can lead to transplant shock. I find that soil blocks really make the hardiest seedling. So a lot of people that I've seen stress about the importance of a mix for soil blocking, and I will tell you right now that I've never found that necessary. You just need a fine potting soil. So also, new seed growers, do not buy seed starting mix in those like little jiffy bags. It's awful. It's basically just peat moss with some perlite in it. It doesn't hold water very well. It has no nutrients. Just get a regular potting soil and that will treat you better. I will tell you though how I soil block. So you're gonna want to, that is a label. You're gonna want to fill some kind of container that you can put a lot of soil in and get it wet. For me, I found this tub in the garage. Don't really know what it's for, but that's what I use. You're gonna want to put your soil in a container and get it nice and wet. Honestly, I can tell you how to do that, but the best way is just trial and error. You just figure out what works. To me, it needs to be really wet. So not like dripping, but if I squeeze it, water comes out. Because you want it to be wet enough to hold its shape in the soil block. So what I do is I take my soil blocker and I just kind of wiggle it down, but you're gonna want to go all the way down to the bottom, and I just wiggle it for probably five wiggles, and then I pull it up. I've seen people press it into here. I don't find that to be necessary. I just kind of smush it in. Cat, get out. I just kind of smash it in the bottom of this, and that works out great for me. From there, you're gonna take your tray and put your soil blocker down with a nice firm pressure. Kitty! No! With firm pressure, you're just gonna push down on it first and then lift up. And it makes these perfect little soil brownies, but don't eat them. From there, I would continue to fill the tray. I can fit six soil blocks on this tray. And you just lightly press the seed into it and keep it well watered. For extra moisture or things that, lots of flower seeds say it needs light to germinate. Really, it doesn't need light. It just needs to be on the top of the soil. Like, you don't have to have a light on it. It just needs oxygen to start the germination process. So once I would have my soil block and I put the seed on, it needs to have firm contact with the soil though. Don't just sit it on top, kind of push it in. You're gonna take some vermiculite. I get it in a bag at Rural King, if you have those. Your farm store will have vermiculite. And just lightly sprinkle it on top. And that will help your seed bed from drying out so quickly. Now let's say it was time to pot something up. So it needs a little bit more soil. You would take your big blocker, pretend that this is a 10-20 tray, because that's usually what I transplant into. I would do the same thing. I would wiggle my soil block down onto the tray. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't perfect, but you've got the big soil block with the hole in the middle that will fit. And then you can peel the little, this is the 3/4 inch block, and all you have to do is just pop it in the center. They stay together better when the roots have filled out the block. You would take your little block and pop it right in the center, kind of push it down, and that is it. So I hope that you will try a soil block. I will link the ones that I got on Amazon in the description in case you want to do that. I know they sell them at Johnny's and things, but they are more expensive on there. And if you're just starting out, you need a good deal, don't you? Happy gardening! Until next time.